Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Press. We are reaching you live from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you've actually missed out on the headline, but then you can still join in the conversation and analysis of the papers I read out to you earlier. My guest on the show today is Richard Oriri, who is a politician. Great to have you on the show this morning.
It's my pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, viewers, our phone lines are open. You can call in to make your contributions or ask your questions. And like I said, if you're not able to make that call, you can also send a text message. We'll definitely read your text messages out. And remember, it is just 1 minute to every caller. All right, quite a number of stories, but let's begin with the free fall of the Naira. And then in all of the papers, all papers are saying the same thing. This day newspaper says CBN unfold measures to boost FX supply, mitigate foreign currency speculation. And Vanguard newspaper says CBN clamps down on banks, pegs trade assets in forex. And then some analysts are saying that the bank compliance will definitely lead to Naira appreciation. From the Vanguard newspaper, you take it to Nigerian Tribune. They say Senate summons CBN governor over state of economy. CBN limits bank FX holding to curb speculation. Pressure on Naira persists, and the Naira tumbles at 1,455 Naira to and 59 kobo to $1 at the official market. But then if you go to the parallel market, the black market, at some point it even sold for 1,520. At some point it went down to 1,005, 1,480, 1,450. And then some other persons will say, okay, let it just keep falling so that the dollars that they are holding will keep increasing. So most people now prefers to keep their money in dollars instead of keeping it in Naira. And then some persons say those ones are the problems of Nigeria, those ones that are deciding to hold their Naira. And now CBN is saying that they are going to clamp down on banks that are also holding the dollars, because banks are also holding it. If you go to the bank, they'll tell you they don't have dollars. So now, who exactly is Nigeria's problem? Is it those ones that the government officials or the citizens that are holding the dollars, saying that their money, saying that no, let us wait till dollar gets to maybe 2,000 before we can go and change it, or the banks that are holding it, or maybe those Nigerians who will refuse to buy Nigeria product, who will refuse to buy Nigeria rice and instead go for basmati rice or the foreign rice. Who exactly is our problem here?
Thank you. The problem we are having in Nigeria is that we hate patronizing what belongs to us. And the reason I say this is that our population keep increasing on daily basis. And 70 to 80% of Nigerians, they now make use of dollar instead of Naira, even in our open markets. If you go to the National Assembly today, we have 360 members of House of Reps and 109 senators. Majority, all of them, I can say virtually all of them. No one trade in Naira anymore. And other businessmen within the Nigerian economy, the same thing. They don't trade in Naira, they trade in dollar. So the pressure on dollar is becoming so high on daily basis. And the availability of dollar that majority of Nigerian citizens want to make use of in the open market is not there. Dollar is not available. It's not like you see Naira. You see Naira available almost everywhere, but dollar is not like it's not like that. So the pressure on dollar keep increasing. Why the availability of dollar is just in a simple economic terms. The higher the demand of anything increases the price of that particular goods. So presently the demand for dollar is high. And since the demand for dollar is high, both individuals who trade in the dollar, they are now hodling it. Like I heard from one of my friends yesterday. He said the dollar he kept before, he sold it at the rate of 1,150 something Naira. But today, the dollar is around one. Hi, if he had known, he would have kept it today. I say, what if you kept it and the price did not appreciate? You will be the one to lose. And that is why you see some of them, the moment they see the price going up like this, they go and sell the one they have available. And after selling it to them, if they don't sell at that particular time, maybe before tomorrow the price will fall and they will be the one to lose. So That is the.
So those speculators, are they Nigerians?
They are Nigerians. They are, if you go to Zone 4 now, all of them who are dealing with dollar and naira, buying dollar, keeping dollar, and all of that, they are all Nigerians. And if you go, I mean,
are they actually our problem?
They are the problem. Nigerian citizens who trade in dollar, they are the problem. If you go to China today, you cannot do anything in China with dollar. You do with their own currency. But anybody that comes to Nigeria, even foreigners, they prefer using dollars. They will even tell you that they don't collect naira. Even if they sell anything to you within Nigeria here, they will ask you to pay in dollar. And Nigerians will comply. So we need government policy that will curtail these excesses of dollar use.
So then do you actually see this present administration, this government, being able to curtail or all of these policies that they've been reeling out since they came into a governance in May 29, 2023? Do you see them as try and error?
They can come up with beautiful policies, but when it comes to implementation, we don't have the force. We don't have the capacity to implement policies. Even the government officials, like president of the country now, may come up with he has his own policies now, presently, as in how to revive the economy. But who are the people supervising this implementation of the policy? Who are the people giving him feedback whether the policy is failing or they are succeeding? Nothing. His own is that this is my policy and he has rolled it out. You understand? He has rolled it out.
So there's no monitoring, there's no evaluation.
The people in the field implementing this policy, where are the committees set up to monitor these policy implementers? There are no committees like that monitoring them. No, if there's a committee monitoring them, then you will now see how proper evaluation will come up. If you evaluate and give feedback to the president, you will know whether the policy is failing, either to change it or leave it like that. But as it is now, our policy is just by pronouncement. We don't have any positive feedback from our policy.
Oh wow. All right, now let's leave it there and then move straight to other stories. Let's take this message from Kish Jr. that says, good morning. I want to comment on 400,000 minimum wage. Labor should know that wage arrears only 1 month that was paid successfully. The second one is halfway. Please do something. Workers are in pains. So I'll take my next story or my next headline from that one, and then we saw a particular headline. I'm trying to remember which headline I saw it in, where that's on First News. So First News papers, the labor leader, the president of the NLC, says is actually explaining why they are demanding 400,000 naira minimum wage. And I'm asking, Kish Jr. is also asking, if in some states they've not even been able to pay the one that they asked for before, and you're asking for this much, isn't that biting more than you can chew?
They are not biting more than they can chew. They are not biting more than they can chew. They are already into negotiation with the government. And in negotiation, they have already presented their interests. This is where we stand. It's left for the government side now to come up with what they can afford. Not that the 400,000 naira that they have projected is going to be their stand. That will not be their stand. But in coming down, they will definitely come down, but they will not come down to a point where it will pinch them, and government will not accept the one that it will pinch them much too. So in that case, Nigeria, as we are today as a country, we have the capacity. The country have the capacity to pay minimum wage of at least 150,000 naira. The 400 is high. Yes, we know it's high. But Nigeria still have the capacity to even pay 300,000 naira minimum wage. If we can fight terribly, if we can come out strongly to fighting corruption. Because the reason we don't have money available to service our workers is because some individuals will keep themselves one side and be taking the money, acquiring the collective wealth of the country to one individual account. Like I read, I listened to television when before leaving my house. I heard of this person, aviation. that they are going to prosecute him. You see, they should not be selective. They should not be selective in picking ex-ministers. Almost 90% of the former ministers that served under President Muhammadu Buhari, they are supposed to be called to answer questions. If you talk of aviation, where we have Nigeria Air, just within 12 minutes, Nigeria Air went off the air. Nobody is. And
then, if you recall, even the Ethiopia airline guy had to resign because of that Nigeria Air. So you don't wonder why is it that we have a problem with resigning and then coming up clean, and then saying that, okay, what I did was wrong. And
we don't have value for integrity in Nigeria. The country that have value for integrity and have value for citizens' responsibility to their country, they are the ones that will, because of shame and to protect their image and the image of their country, do that as into sacrifice to save the country's image from being damaged. But in Nigeria, we don't care. We are talking about former Minister of Aviation. What about the Attorney General of the Federation, Minister and Minister of Justice, who supervises?
You mean the former one?
Yes, there is Malami, who supervises even the EFCC and ICPC. All the money, the looted fund from Abacha, he was the one who supervises it. Where are the money today? We are not seeing anything. He supervises almost all the agencies. The second in command of this country after the president is the Attorney General of the Federation. He supervises almost all the strong agencies in this country. All the money looted, the looted fund from Abacha that was recovered, nobody is asking about it today. If you talk of Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, that after every week, every one week, you will see them rolling out trillions that they have shared to Nigeria. And in my community, I've not seen one person that have said that I received this amount from humanitarian ministry. So almost all the ministers under, is it Ministry of Transport, managed by former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, who took so many loans from China. And today, we are the one paying. And we cannot see anything on ground that the loan taken from China was used for. And nobody is asking them. They are all at home, resting, relaxing. Nobody is questioning them. So they should not be selective. They should be holistic in their investigation. EFCC, they should be holistic in their investigation, not a selective justice. We don't want selective justice because we know that our money, collective wealth, is in the hand of individuals who are with us in this country. So if we really want to do justice to the country, we should equally put our workers first. And the demand of this labor union is not too much to me. Yeah,
I agree. It's not too much. But instead of sitting, for some people, I would say, instead of going to fake meetings, going to Aso Villa and then sitting with the president and saying we want 400,000 naira for every worker, minimum wage for every worker. Why not also go to those state governors who has refused to even pay when you said 18,000 or over 30,000? They have refused to pay, and according to this person, he said they even paid at some point. They paid, but now they are even paying half of it. Why not go to those persons and start your freedom fight or your negotiations there?
No, once they agree on any fixed amount, this is minimum wage, agreed, even governors will be brought in. Let them start. The negotiation they have started is in order. Once they have agreement, governors will buy into it.
The same governors that will tell you that go and meet the labor man to pay you the money. I cannot afford it.
They can't do it. Once it's gazetted in our law, the governors are there. It is the law that make them governor. It is the same constitution that make them governor. Once they gazette it, there is no how any governor will shed away from it.
Okay, now let's take facts and figures. If you remember, in Imo State, they've been complaining that they've not been paid their minimum wage.
Just in Imo State.
I'm just saying, for example. I'm just saying, for example. So how do you deal with such people?
It's like in some states, before now, the moment they hear that federation allocation and this FAC will be disbursed. They will disburse the money to states and local government and federal government. You see some states sending their boys to go and cause security problem, so that from there now the governors will now see that as an opportunity not to pay salary. They will use that now to say the allocation that have come, they will divert it to security. It has happened in so many states within the northern region and even within the north central region. But ever since this government come to play, to be now, we have not heard of such insecurity in some of those states anymore. I can take example from Benue State. Before, the moment month is going to 28, 30 or thereabout, you will see insecurity, killing almost everywhere. Just to see that they divert the fund and you keep accumulating.
But that doesn't stop the fact that there is still insecurity in play too.
Not like in those days where you have backlog of over 20-something months not being paid. You understand? But today, the new governor of Benue State now, the Reverend Father Hazard Alia, he has been paying salary. He has been paying salaries to workers, even a pension. He has been paying. Okay, now the level of insecurity in those days is not there. It's just of recent that we had 1 or 2 challenges of security in the state, but it wasn't like this before. Okay. So some of the governors, they have to be just to Nigerians. Like if they agree on this new minimum wage now, there's no how any governor will not be part of it. They will be part of it. But the challenge is that we have to do everything to stop corruption, because the level of corruption in the country is too bad.
All right, Richard, let's go to other stories. If we sit on that one, we might take the whole day. The Punch newspaper says Ekiti Obas threatened to invoke Yoruba gods against kidnappers. And before we brought you in I was just saying it out loud, in fact thinking out loud, that we are solidly behind them. They should not even threaten. They should release Shogo, they should release Obatala, they should release all the old gods on the kidnappers. Are you or not? Are you with us on this?
I like the direction they are going. I believe.
But is that even a means to the end?
You know, the problem, why our problem keep increasing every day in Nigeria, especially in Africa generally, is because we have shifted from our real tradition, our real way of life, our culture. In those days, if you are a thief,
the gods will strike you down.
The gods will strike you immediately. And for the fear of not being struck by the gods, you don't get yourself involved in any criminal acts. Even sleeping with somebody's wife.
Yes, I was going to say that.
You don't do it. Even going to somebody's farm and steal the yam or anything, you don't do it. But today, everything has turned upside down. Even our gods, they are angry with us. The gods are angry all over the country.
How do you know that the gods are angry with us?
The gods are angry.
They tell you that.
The gods are angry.
Some
of these things happen. Like the other day, I was talking to somebody. Before, from April, you see rain. For our farm to be healthy, for our farm this thing to be healthy, for everything concerning your farm produce to be normal. But today, from April, even sometime May, June, you've not seen rain. In some communities, we will tell you that the elders should go and appeal to the gods.
Richard, that is climate change. It has nothing to do with the gods.
I believe in African tradition. I was brought up in a traditional way under my father, who was the traditional district head of my community, up to the rank of second class chief of my local government. I was like his DC. So I know the tradition of communities. So if we go by the ethics and tradition of our communities, there is no how we will be where we are today. But this acculturation, bringing in things that doesn't belong to us in Nigeria and in Africa, is our major challenge. Nobody. To be a thief before, you will be, in fact, you will be banished. If you are known to be a thief, or you are known to be a killer, or you are known to be somebody who sleep with somebody's wife, they will banish you from the community. But today, it's a free-for-all venture.
So let me ask you, I'm going to ask you two questions, and I'd like you to take them together. It's still on this, because now I hear you say that even if you're in that community, you'll be banished, you become an Osu and all of that. But then it looks like that Osu caste system, they've actually watered it down. In some places, they don't even go through it anymore.
Osu is like a royal and non-royal. Osu is somebody that is a non-royal, somebody that is tagged to be a black sheep. In fact, you are not qualified to lead.
Okay, so now my question
that
here
is what they call Osu in the eastern part of the country.
Okay, so my question here is, most people would, especially those that they are very used to African magic, Nollywood, they say Osu means they've banned you. You're no longer part of. You have been sent to the evil forest.
They don't count you among the real people in the society.
Okay, so now my question here is, now if you say that, if you remember you actually reminded us about the fact that some people will be banished if they steal some as small as yam or chicken or egg from the village, and then they will be banished. But then we've had all of these allegations saying that even some of these traditional leaders, they know, because you definitely know when there's a new person in your community. So it's not possible that somebody comes in newly and you don't know the person. You're not be able to account for that person. So is it then, would we then say that since all of that has been watered down, that tradition has been watered down, it now means that truly we should also point our fingers to the traditional leaders, because they would definitely have a hand in this? That's one on the side. And then secondly, if you remember during the COVID-19 pandemic and then the palliative, the looting of warehouses where palliatives were dumped and all, if you remember what happened in Lagos in the Oba's palace, where some boys even went to take his staff of office. They even took some money. They took a coffin that was that they had money inside. And then we just heard this, they're not even scared of the fact that they want to go and steal from the Oba himself. How can boys go and steal from the Oba? So has it gotten that bad? And now for these traditional leaders to say that we will bring down traditional, the Yoruba gods on you. So if you could do that, why are we waiting? Because if that happened during the palliative, during the COVID-19 palliative, and nothing happened, isn't this just raining, spelling doom that actually nothing is going to come out of it?
The issue there is so clear. Before now, our traditional rulers, they respect the institution. But today, traditional rulers are being politicized. In some communities, we have kingmakers. The moment the one sitting, the one sitting, you know the next person that will come after you. And the kingmakers know who will take over from this the one sitting today. But today, traditional institution has become political. If you are not a friend of either a senator or House of Rep member or governor or commissioner within your state, you will not be made traditional ruler in your community. Even when the kingmakers will be up on their neck, we don't want this person. Government officials will say he's the one they want. And in such a situation, when you impose traditional ruler on the community, there is no how that traditional ruler will have command of anybody. There will be no respect from anybody. Even the youth wing will be different from you. In a community, the youth wing of every community, they form the security wing of the administration of the community. But the moment the traditional ruler is not installed by the rules, the norms of the community, it is imposed by government. The rest of the community elders and youth and even women, they will distance themselves from you. In such a situation, you will not even know what is happening in your community. What you are after is at the end of the month, you collect your salary. And that is the reason we are having some of these problems in all the communities today. Before, if the traditional rule, the moment they point at anybody, this person, this youth has committed so crime, traditional ruler will send for the youth leader. And on the day of the like in my community, every 5 days, we have a council of elders meeting where the district head and the kindred leaders will meet with the district head to decide and look at issues as people from the community bring before them. They will look at even land matters and everything. A criminal will be brought before them and they will punish you according to the law of the community. But today, you cannot even summon anybody to your palace because they don't regard you to be their chief. It's your right to respect anybody to be your chief, and it's your right not to respect anybody to be your chief.
So is it problem from the leaders or the followers?
It's politicians that have destroyed everything within our community setting.
All right.
Yes. Politics has destroyed everything.
Let's move to other stories. Richard Oriri, still on insecurity. Daily Trust says amid insecurity, NEF, that's Northern Elders Forum, or Haneze CSOs angry over Tinubu's private trip to Paris. And then the presidency says that he's on top of the situation. I watched a particular interview yesterday where they were talking to one of his spokesperson, the president's spokesperson, and he said that there is no point for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu just because he's in Paris. Doesn't mean that insecurity would definitely be happening at other places. That he can travel. That there's no point for him going to Ekiti, going to Ogun, going to Plateau, and then go and the word that he used was, I'm going to quote him. He said, "There's no point for." It's called Ojuaye, and Ojuaye means pretense, or like what's the other word? I'm trying to find the other word for it. But then I found that word very, very trying to find it. Anyways, let's just move to other stories. But then you have in Plateau State, in other places, in Ogun, in Ibadan, most people are now going back to community policing. And I remember during President Bola Ahmed Muhammad Buhari, when we had these talks about community policing, state policing, it was watered down. But now, does it actually mean that those who said no to Amotekun, those who said no to Ebubago, at some point, now they've seen reason for us to go back to community policing?
Annabel, this is a very terrible problem for the country. Very serious problem. As we speak now, Nigeria, what is going on in the country is civil war. Civil war is going on in the country today, not just insecurity. There is no part of the country that is safe. I was here the other day to tell you about my brothers, two of my brothers that were kidnapped. The first one was kidnapped on 28th of September. And the second one, as he was taking the ransom to them on the 7th of November, he was equally held hostage. But that one, to the glory of God, last Saturday, he reunited with us. If you hear what they are saying concerning these kidnappers, some of the camp owners within the kidnappers zone, some of the camp owners are military men. From what they are saying, they say some of them.
That's what your brother told you.
Yes, claim that they have Boko Haram have killed them, and they now form a camp. Are you
sure they're not impersonating the military?
Yeah. If they're impersonating, that is what they have told them. Even the very day that they were on the 7th of November, that he said they held him hostage, that he took the ransom to them. He said there was an attack in one military barracks or somewhere. The other one said they were the one that went for the attack. So what is going on in this country today is civil war. And me as a person, I'm even afraid. I'm afraid the military don't come on board again. Because there was a time I went to interview retired General Ibrahim Babangida, the former head of state to the country in Mina. That was in 2020. In the course of the interview, I asked about these military interventions. And he said the reason for military to come and take over any government, that it is we, the civilians, that bring them to power. When a government is not inclusive, when a government is sectional, when insecurity everywhere, when there is corruption everywhere, definitely you are creating very conducive platform for military to come in. So each time my mind go back to his statement that time, and I see some of those things he told me to be happening everywhere in the country, my fear is that I pray military don't come to take over the government. Now you see, just was it yesterday or so, 2 days ago, about not up to 24 hours ago, Zamfara or Katsina, they set up their own committee, security agents in almost every state now. Not the regional security again. Now it's state militias that they are already recruiting. And some of these people, they don't have specific salary. They don't have specific salary. They will give them a letter of employment, but they don't have, like in Benue State, we have volunteer guards. They don't have salary. They are volunteer guards, but they are carrying gun. Before you know it, the power of these militias,
they become power drunk.
They will become more powerful even than the military. So before you know it, you and I can't even move on the road.
Are you saying that it is
wrong?
The
country is not safe.
Are you saying it is wrong to bring in community policing then?
It is wrong, but what is happening is that the people within the local communities, they are helpless. Because government is not taking the responsibility of security so serious. Like the former presidential candidate of the SDP in the just concluded election, Prince Adewale Adebayo, he said it. I listened to one of his interviews. He said just 82 division of the Nigerian army alone in Enugu, they can finish any terrorist anywhere in the country. Just one division of the Nigerian army. If we have that political will to do whatever we want to do in this country. If we are complaining that the insecurity in Nigeria, kidnappers, banditry, they are overwhelmed us, how can Nigeria army that the whole Africa is afraid of, not even the whole world, why is Nigeria pushing to be among the Security Council in the UN? Because we have the strength. We have the military strength. So just one unit of the Nigerian army can wipe off any criminal within the country. But the angle that everything is being politicized. If you go to police, they are not coordinating with the army, the SSS, they are behaving. I told you I wrote a petition, I wrote official letter to IG, I wrote to DSS, I wrote to the Nigerian army. My sister, the one that took serious action was the IG. Because the day I went to trace the letter, the very day the letter went to his office, that was on 20th. On 22nd, he has milited it to DIG intelligence.
So are you saying the DSS didn't do anything?
The DSS, I even went there to quarrel. I went there to quarrel. When I went there to give information, what they need to do to help bring these people, to help track these people, they said I should put it in writing still. I said, me, the one I wrote before, what have you done? I should put it in writing. The first person kidnapped is outside now. You can call him. I can bring him to your office here to give you every information. He is even willing to go with you to even the bush. They said I should put it in writing again. I can't put it. I told them I will go to Nigeria NSA to report them. In their compound there. I said I will go to NSA to report them. But see, when we have the political will to tackle insecurity in this country, it will be done. But there's no political will.
So just and
I pray Nigerian army don't come to power again.
Just before we go, Nigeria Daily Independent says invite Gowon, Obasanjo, Abdul Salami, others for impute against insecurity. Bode George tells Tinubu, is this a means to the end?
His point is so clear. His point is so clear. His point is so clear because if you look at you check history, General Gowon, when we were in the Civil War, what General Gowon did was to call back retired army, the Nigerian army officers that have retired. He called them back to force to increase the strength of the Nigerian army because. Like these people, Bode George is advising that they should call them for security issue. They have the experience. Nobody can buy experience. So you can't buy experience in the market. Like General Guso. Guso is still alive. He's from Zamfara State. Guso is there. Yeah, retired General Colonel also Abdulmumini Aminu from Katsina. He's there. Former NSA, former director of Nigeria Defense Nigeria Intelligence. This Haliru Akilu. He's there. He's if you go to Kano now, you will see him in his house.
All right, Richard.
So they should call all of these people together to give proper security advice and to put their input. All right. And there will be safety in the country. But if that is not, like some of these people, they don't even give them proper training again anymore. But those people, they have the training, they have the experience, and they are living with the civilians now. Majority of them are retired, and they are living with the civilians.
We have to go. Thank you so much for your time.
We have to step up.
Thank you so much for your time with
pleasure.
us, Richard Oriri, politician. It's always a pleasure having this talk with you.
Thank you.